This is the 2019-2020 Kilowatt Crackdown Awards, but this year we've exercised a great partnership we have with the Louisville Sustainability Council to double this event as a Green Convene event. So we want to thank the Louisville Sustainability Council for joining us today. Very much appreciate the partnership. We're very like-minded organizations, so thank you again for networking and joining us. Today, my name is Kurt Barrett. I'll be our MC for the event. I'm a board member with the Louisville Energy Alliance and an associate at Parsons Train. Today, just to give you an idea of what our agenda will look like, we'll hear from the Louisville Energy Alliance and Louisville Sustainability Council. We'll hear from our host today, Parsons Train, and then we'll roll into the Kilowatt Crackdown Awards. And then we have a special treat for you today. We'll have a panel discussion. We're live here at Parsons Train, so our panelists will join us at that time. And we've got some pre-prepared questions for them to answer to talk about their sustainability programs, the challenges, successes, and how they've gone about it. So that'll be very beneficial to all of us, I'm sure. So one thing that's, we have these challenges of having to do things virtually, but one of the added benefits is we can do online polling. So today, embedded in our program, we're going to have 4 online polling questions, and we'd ask that as much of the audience as possible would participate and ask us or answer some of our questions so that we can share them with the rest of the group. So as we move forward, we have our first polling question, and it is, how much is sustainability integrated in your organization? And you'll be able to see that online. And we'll give you just a few minutes or a minute or so to answer the questions and provide some feedback. Still see the bars moving a little bit, so we'll just give it a second. I love the audience participation. This is great. I hope no one's cheating, waiting for other people to answer before they. All right, I think we're good. So it looks like the majority of the respondents, we have a sustainability plan or emission reduction goals that employees are actively working towards every day, and then that was about 50%, and then about 35% is it's a top priority, and so that's great that people are actually having these programs and getting engaged. So thank you very much. All right. So let's move on. So what I'd like to do now is I'd like to introduce the next speaker. She is the board chair for Louisville Energy Alliance. Her name is Alyssa McCracken. I'm sure most of the audience knows her from KPDC. And before I bring her up, I want to give a shout out to Mark Toda. Mark is with KPDC, and he helps us with the Louisville Energy Alliance Kilowatt Crackdown Awards. Not just this year, he's helped us several years. So a shout out to Mark. So listen. Hang on just one second. I think we're coming up. There we go.
All right, hello everyone. I'm going to try to adjust this just a little bit. So happy to be here because I don't think I've been in an office building meeting room since, February maybe? And just so glad that we were able to work this out. And I have to give big thank you to Kurt, most of all. He has helped make this happen. And Train has been phenomenal, allowing us to use this room and working through all the logistics that we're doing. As you see, we are really, there's some people here, but they're spaced out in the back. The panelists will be coming out. We're just limiting as much interaction as we can here. So glad to have you all joining us from where you are. Now, I do want to also say we do have some award winners, as it announces, that are not present because of the numbers that we had to really stick by. So we do have photos of all the award winners, and to the award winners out there. We really enjoyed going and doing the photos ahead of time. So that was a lot of fun. So the LEA, Louisville Energy Alliance, was incorporated in 2009. It actually started back in 2007 as an initiative brought out through Mayor Jerry Abramson. And it was really a commitment to helping reduce emissions and, for better health, better quality, and conservation. So it is not a city program. It really belongs to the community. And so what we do as representatives from the community, we come together and try to do what we can through various facets. Kurt is with Train. I'm with the Kentucky Pollution Prevention Center, which is technical assistance. We do have people from the city. We have consultants. We have just members of organizations on there. So really it is to come together in partnership, as we have with LSC today, to help get the word out. So as I mentioned, the partnerships, we really appreciate the fact that so many have stepped up to be a partner, either by being on the board itself or supporting meetings, and which is what we usually do. And this normally would have been an in-person meeting. But, once a year we have a energy conservation conversation where we bring together all sorts of facets in the community, and we just share basic best management practices, success stories, vendors, people who can help promote energy efficiency and provide the assistance. We also really support the portfolio manager program for Energy Star. And we have been sponsoring once or twice a year a session where it's hosted here in the city. EPA has actually taped a session. We bring people from Train and KPPC, who we are the technical assistance providers to this group. And we share and help with the learning curve on how to get started in portfolio manager. So not only do we just give you ideas on how to improve efficiency, we actively participate to get you there. So here's the makeup of the board of directors. As I mentioned, we come from various facets. We are always looking for board members. So if you are interested in becoming a part of the board, we would love to have you. We also are looking for people who may not want to be on the board, but want to participate in some of the activities that we're doing. So always welcome anything to help, share the story, get the word out. And at that point, I'm going to turn it back to Kurt, and we have another poll question.
All right, thank you, Lisa. Yes, I have my mask in my hand, so we are safe and healthy here. So the second poll question, we'd ask everybody to get ready. Does your organization actively track your usage. I think the question may have got cut off online. So we want to know if you're actively tracking. We're looking at energy cost, or do you look at cost and usage? Are you just doing your Energy Star score? It could be all the above or none of the above. All right, looks like energy cost and usage is the big leader. That's great. That's great. You know, it's with electrical demand, you know, that's, people just look at usage sometimes and think about how efficient they are. But, you know, the Louisville Energy Alliance, one of our mottos is, if it's good for the planet, then it's great for business. And so part of that is not just tackling the usage, but the demand. So I'm glad to see that people are looking at both their cost and their usage. The Energy Star score, we'd love to see that a little bit higher. So for what Lisa was talking about, we'd love to have people join us when we're back to be able to have classroom training again. And I want to give a shout out to Spalding. Spalding allows us to use one of their classrooms for portfolio manager training. So thank you very much to Spalding for being a great partner of the Louisville Energy Alliance. So at this point, what I'd like to do is I would like to turn it over to Julia Murray, who's going to talk a little bit about the, and I'm going to have to get my sharing going again here. She's going to talk a little bit about the Louisville Sustainability Council for us. So I'm going to turn the floor over to Julia.
Thank you, Kurt. I'll go ahead and wait for that slide before I begin, but I'll just be doing a brief overview of the Louisville Sustainability Council, LSC, for those of you that haven't heard of us. So yes, my name is Julia Murray. I'm the program manager for the Louisville Sustainability Council. We're very excited to be here and doing this Green Convene with the LEA. So we'll just jump right in. Next slide, please. So our vision and mission. The LSC's vision is we envision the Louisville Sustainability Council as a national leader in creating sustainable, equitable, and resilient local communities. Our mission is the LSC connects communities, convenes strategically, and creates programs, events, and resources for a sustainable and equitable future. Next slide, please. So here's a brief overview of our programs and events. We host a monthly green drinks. This takes place the third Wednesday of every month. And this is for community networking and awareness. So each month we have a different speaker going over a program or initiative in the city. It's just a great way to get everyone together and connect over what's happening in the city, just with like-minded people. Of course, we have switched to a virtual format now, so every month it is now on Zoom, but it's still great to see familiar faces and get a good chat going on. We also host quarterly green convenes like the one you are currently attending. This is more topic-specific sustainability education, usually featuring some type of workshop and partnership that we are involved in. And then last but certainly not least, our annual Sustainability Summit, which is coming up November 12th. This just gives us an opportunity to get the community together and celebrate, educate, recognize the work we're doing, and plan for the year ahead with our community. This year's theme is Climate Crossroads, and we will be exploring the intersection of climate change and social justice. So if you haven't gotten your ticket already, go ahead and register. I will pop the link in the chat box. It's going to be a really awesome event, November 12th from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. Next slide, please. And then our Do Something Green campaign. This has been launched since Earth Day this year, April 22nd. So it's a fairly new program, but it's shown amazing results. So this has 3 parts to it. A city pledging platform, so you can go on our site and make a green pledge. And if you're not sure what to pledge, we have lots of awesome local community pledges you can look through. We also have an accessible resource library. This is broken down into lots of categories, energy, transportation, water, yard, etc. And if you don't see a resource listed that you're interested in, you can always shoot us an email. Again, that's right on our site. And then the third part, which we're actually announcing at the summit, is our first community micro grant program. So we'll be giving out grants quarterly to different community projects and initiatives in lowering greenhouse gas emissions. So we're very excited to be launching that, and that applications will open November 12th at our Sustainability Summit. And again, thank you to our sponsors. Our work wouldn't be possible without our funding sponsors and our partnerships. If you are interested in being a sponsor of the Louisville Sustainability Council, I will go ahead and drop that link in the chat box as well. And we are also looking for board members. So if you want to get involved, if you want to have a partnership, if you think your organization would make a great fit for LSC's work, shoot us an email. We would love to have a conversation about getting you involved and potentially joining the board. So thank you again, Kurt, for having us.
Thanks, Julia. One thing I forgot to say up front, I just want to make everybody aware that we are recording this event, so we can post it for anybody that wasn't able to attend. So I just wanted, whenever we're having a meeting and it's being recorded, I think we need to say that. So just want everybody to know. And now it's time for our third of the 4 polling questions. And it is, how does your organization track its energy usage? So earlier we talked about what do you track, now how do you track? I was concerned that our energy portfolio manager, Energy Star portfolio manager is way back there. So. All right. Let's go. I'll give it a second. So it looks like, I think we're good, Julia. So I think what we find is just using the old spreadsheet method, which is a great way to do it. I'm glad to see that 29% of the audience is using the portfolio manager tool. It's a great way to do it. It'll automatically give you carbon equivalencies and your carbon footprint as well. And something else to give a plug to the portfolio manager. We talk a lot about energy, but other parts of sustainability, and a big part of it is water. Water doesn't go into an Energy Star score, but it does impact your sustainable initiatives, and it's a big deal. So you can put in trash, you can put in water. It doesn't go into your score, but it's a great tool to help benchmark those other resources that are being used. Okay, so with that, let me get sharing back again, and I want to introduce our next speaker from our near and dear to my heart. I want to introduce Eric Samuelson. Eric Samuelson is with Harshaw Train, our hosting sponsor today, and he is going to talk a little bit about our carbon reduction goals that we've set for our clients. Eric is both Train and Louisville Sustainability Council member. So, Eric.
Thank you, Kurt. We appreciate the opportunity to partner with the Louisville Energy Alliance, Louisville Sustainability Council, to host this year's Kilowatt Crackdown Awards. At Harshaw Train, we take environmental stewardship very seriously. In 2019, the Train company developed a 1 gigaton goal to reduce our clients' carbon emissions by 2030. Harshaw Train also set a goal to ensure we are doing our part for both Train and the clients we serve by setting a 1 megaton carbon reduction goal by 2024 and a 2 megaton reduction by 2030. So just as we do for our clients, we're tracking our results, and I'm proud to say that we're well on our way to achieving them. It's a win-win for our clients and for our planet. do this by connecting with our clients, not just their buildings and technologies, but also with their people and their core mission as well. So again, we appreciate the opportunity to host this event. We look forward to a successful year ahead.
All right, thanks, Eric. I appreciate it. So now we get to move to the fun and rewarding part of the ceremony today. It's the Kilowatt Crackdown Awards. For those of you who aren't familiar with our Kilowatt Crackdown Awards, this is something that the Louisville Energy Alliance does annually. Typically, we are looking for submissions to be submitted by the end of January, which is our goal for 2021. And then we would roll into a spring award ceremony. But 2020 being the way it is, nothing's normal. So today we're doing the awards in October. But there's no problem with that. The goal is just to make sure that people that are doing great things are getting recognized for their leadership and sustainability and their achievements. And so we have what's called the Kilowatt Crackdown Award, which is presented to different organizations for either energy improvement. We try to keep the awards a little bit loose because every now and then we run into somebody that is doing something innovative. And to give you an example, of Oxmoor Mall a couple of years ago, we recognized with an innovation award because of what they did with their solar program on the road. And so those are the Crackdown Awards. And then our large award, the Pinnacle Award, would be the Kilowatt Cup. And that goes to the that has put it all together. It's not just about doing one thing, but it's doing many things to drive energy efficiency and sustainability. And so without further ado, let's roll into the awards. And as Alyssa said, we typically will have this as a live event, and they'll be there, and we'll present the award and do pictures. But because of 2020 being the way it is with COVID-19, we went ahead and delivered the awards ahead of time, took pictures with the winners to make sure that they were getting the awards, and we could present them live, but virtually live. So the first award is for a K-12 facility, and this year's winner is Sacred Heart Academy. They've done some great things. Later on today, David Noltemeyer will be part of our panel. So I don't want to steal his thunder about their sustainability program, but I will say that their program is not just limited to saving energy and the facilities team. They're doing a good job of getting it out across the campus and teaching young people to be sustainable at an early age, and I think that's tremendous. So congratulations to Sacred Heart for the K-12 facility award. I feel like there should be a big round of applause right now, but we're virtual, so. The next award, this year we had a museum submit, and very worthy of the award. They've done some great things. This year's Kilowatt Crackdown Award for the museum facility goes to the Fraser Museum. As you can see, again, we were able to get a picture, and the nice thing about this picture is we have somebody from the LSC and the LEA, although this proves I'm not a professional photographer, because Taylor Jameson from the secretary for the Louisville Energy Alliance is over there on the left with shadows all across his face. So I apologize to Taylor publicly for that. Fraser Museum, again, what's great about this is they educate people, and they have youth programs going through the museum, both virtually and in person at different times. And so when we're sending youth through these good examples, these people that are showing sustainability out front, we really appreciate that. The next award is for healthcare facilities. And for those of you who have been involved with the healthcare vertical market before, it's a real challenge to save energy. they have to meet certain codes, you know, OR suites. You can't just set things back. You have to make sure that people are safe. That means a lot of outside air treatment, which is one of the most energy intensive things you can do in a building. And so for them to, for a healthcare facility to be able to meet code and do what they have to do, but also save energy, that means a lot. And over the years, we've been able to honor a lot of hospitals. We appreciate their efforts. In the 2019-2020 winner is U of L Hospital. It's Marion Elizabeth, one of their new acquisitions last year. The picture got the guys wearing the mask in the mechanical room. And when we went to present the picture, their head of facilities, Dale, insisted that the entire team join for the picture because it took a team effort. And that's very much true in a hospital. So, congratulations to Marion Elizabeth Hospital. Very well deserved. And so now, entertainment facility, I wasn't sure exactly what to call this site, so we called it the entertainment facility. I think a few people will recognize this facility. It's Churchill Downs, a landmark of the Louisville community. And again, it's great when these awards can go to anybody, especially ones that can promote it throughout our community. And Churchill Downs is definitely not just a Louisville landmark, but a national landmark for the United States. So congratulations to the team. Later on, Kimberly Joseph from Churchill will be joining us as part of our panel. And you might recognize her face from last year when she was here accepting the Kilowatt Cup for Bullitt County Schools. So Kimberly's a rock star. She's all over the place. She's no stranger to awards because she brings some great things. So congratulations to Churchill Downs on this achievement. And I could say a lot about what they've had to do and the challenges they face, but that's what Kimberly will do in just a little bit when we have our panel discussion. Then we have a public transit facility, which is not typically a vertical market that you hear about, but we have one here in Louisville. It's a historical building, so they face all kinds of unique challenges. And the winner this year is TARC. They've done some great things there. And again, when you have for those of you that haven't had to deal with a historical building, I know that's tough. I believe this is one that KPPC worked with to help them out through this process. And so a lot of hard work, and I want to congratulate them on winning an award this year and continued excellence in a historic building. That's tough, so congratulations. The next award goes to a government facility. We could call this a military facility. We could call this facility a lot of things because they wear a lot of hats. Again, this is a facility that KPPC worked with. Their major project, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, listed was a solar project that they did in the facility. And the winner is the Kentucky Air National Guard, also known as CANG. And we want to congratulate them on their award. And earlier I mentioned Mark Toda. There's Lissa and Mark presenting it to, is it Colonel Spalding? Is that the? Lieutenant Colonel.
Lieutenant Colonel Tom Spalding could not make it, so this is Lieutenant Colonel Kevin Smith.
Good deal. Thank you. Thank you very much. Again, I want to not just thank Kentucky Air National Guard, but thank Mark Toda for all his efforts in helping us with these awards and putting together energy data for the analysis that went into these awards. So thank you very much for that, Mark. And congratulations to Kentucky Air National Guard. You know, it's same thing with public schools. That shows they're a good steward of the environment, but also the tax dollars, because that's a federal and state funded installation. So that makes me feel a lot better as somebody in the community that we have such strong leadership at CANG. Now it's time for the Pinnacle Award, the big award, the Kilowatt Cup. We've had some tremendous winners. We actually had several people put in for the award this year, and it was a tough decision by the board. For a matter of fact, some of the people that received Crackdown Awards were people that didn't win the cup, that went for the cup, because we could only have one winner, and we wanted to make sure they were recognized, and that's why they received Kilowatt Crackdown Awards. It was a very tough decision, but this entity has done a lot of things without missing a beat. They're an industrial facility, and for similar to healthcare, when you think about industrials, they're producing goods or they're doing something, and their number one thing is process, and you can't slow that process down. So to be able to save energy while you're keeping your process moving forward, especially when your business is growing at the pace their business is growing, is an exceptional accomplishment. And this year's winner is the UPS Worldport facility. And Pete Johnson, who's holding the award there in the center of the picture, will join us for our panel discussion so he can share a little bit more information about the challenges UPS has faced and how they've done this. But they have done several things that have helped drive efficiency and reliability at the same time. They are proof that it's not, just because you're saving energy doesn't mean you have to shut things off completely. It's more about being really efficient and being on top of things and tracking it. So congratulations to UPS Worldport for winning this year's Kilowatt Cup. You're a great winner. So now we're ready for another poll question before we start into our panel discussion. So Julia, if you don't mind putting the question up, or starting the poll. The question is, what has been the biggest hurdle for your sustainability efforts? And while we're doing this, we'll bring our panelists in. Kind of have assigned seats, I think. David, I think I've got you here. I think I've got you right here. Let that run for just a second. Yeah. Right there. Or here? Yeah. All right. So it looks like competing priorities is the topic. I'm not surprised at all. It's one of the hardest things, is developing these justifications for doing this when there's so many things going on, especially in 2020 with COVID-19. Sometimes energy takes a back seat. So again, I want to thank everybody for participating in our poll. Right. So let me get back to sharing the preset real quick. All right, so we'll do quick introductions and then I'll turn it over to them to actually talk a little bit more. But just so you can see on the screen, we have name placards at the tables, but it may be hard to read on the camera. So I just want to do this very quickly. To my right is David Noltemeyer from Sacred Heart and Pete Johnson from UPS. And to my left is Kimberly Joseph from Churchill Downs and Sherry Hurley from Farm to Fork. Suddenly I can speak. So let me stop sharing so that we can go to so that everyone can see us. Julie, is there any way to put us front and center on the screen?
We're front and center on the audience. We just don't see ourselves.
Oh, okay. Oh, we are. Okay, excellent. All right. So we provided our panelists the questions in advance so they'd be ready. The first one is a real trick question now, and we'll start with Farm to Fork. Please introduce yourself, your name, organization, and in the role that you played.
Don't be close to this.
No,
necessarily.
we're micing this.
And I'm looking at
Yeah.
This is my first one of these to do. Yeah. So my name is Sherry Hurley. I am founder and president of Farm to Fork Catering and Cafe. We started in 2008, and our focus, as you can probably guess from our name, is to use as many locally sourced, sustainably raised ingredients as possible.
Kimberly?
Hi, I'm Kimberly Joseph. I'm the energy manager at Churchill Downs Racetrack, part of the front side facilities team.
David?
I'm David Mosmeyer with Sacred Heart Schools Incorporated. We're a K-12 school system. I'm the director of facility.
I'm Pete Johnson. I'm the facility supervisor for UPS. Airport Port.
Excellent, excellent. That was a trick question. So, all right. So Pete, we'll stick with you as we start for the next question. Has your organization set specific goals for energy and/or carbon reduction? And if so, what are they?
No, we have not set specific goals per se. I know there's an overall broad scheme to reduce carbon emissions, yes, but we have not set, you have to be here and here at such and such a time. It's a relatively new thing for us. We only been in it for about 4 years now. Mm-hmm. Before that, there was no real energy conservation going on per se. I mean, we were doing LED lights and all that early, but we've really in the last 4 years really started cracking in on it and pushing on it.
Yeah. So you had great results
so far.
Yeah. David, how about Sacred Heart?
No, we haven't set specific goals. We've made great progress over the last 6 years or so. Got some exciting news coming out in the very near future. We made great strides in energy reduction with we're putting the train tracer system at our schools, so we can actually control our energy using equipment, scheduled on, scheduled off, going to coach down and coach startup that is balanced. A number of things that, there's a lot of things we can talk about, but no specific goals as of yet. I think we're heading in that direction.
Excellent, excellent. Kimberly?
So I'm new to Churchill Downs, and I came on board in 2019 in December. And this is the first time that Churchill Downs has had an energy manager on site. So we're in the process of developing our formal plan, but operationally, we have set a goal for this year to do an 8 to 10% cost reduction with our natural gas and electricity usage.
Sure.
And ours is going to be a little bit different. We don't have energy goals per se, but we do have goals on how much local food that we purchase, the dollar amount that we want to spend, and percentage spent with direct farm impact.
So you have more of a holistic sustainability approach.
Yes.
With your organization.
Yes.
Okay, great. Sherry, I'll stick with you on the next question. Everybody on the panel has chosen to develop a robust energy management program. You guys wouldn't be here today if you had. We say energy, but it could be sustainability program as well. Right. Can you describe what drives you and your organization to have such a heavy focus on this drive?
Right. So I'm born and raised in Kentucky, and I believe the state is so beautiful. And my happy place is farmers markets. And once you kind of combine all of that, and I'm passionate about food and have been in the hospitality industry for decades now. It was the way that, it's basically the way that I felt that I can contribute to helping the environment. I love nature. And so by both supporting our local economy, I was also protecting the land and the habitat and families, while also producing delicious food, because that's the main, if you get it straight from the source and it's been harvested 48 hours before or 24 hours before, it's going to taste a lot better.
It's interesting because last year, for those of you who attended the Crackdown Awards, we had a panel discussion with the distilleries. And their answers are very similar to yours because they count on the land for what supplies their product. And so they want to nurture that land to sustain it.
So I personally have a background in both business and environmental sciences. So the environment and sustainability are very important to me, but I also understand whether you're a government entity, a school district, or an entertainment sporting facility, that those operational costs are important so that you can reinvest the money somewhere else in your business. And then also, with your community stakeholders, your investors, to show that you're being responsible both to the environment and with your budget.
David? Good question.
Sure, yeah. Can you describe what drives you and your organization to have a strong sustainability program?
The Ursuline Sisters of Louisville are very important to our school system. They were the foundresses of the Sacred Heart Academy and the school, so they're on our property, and they are very, very sustainability minded. Not that that drives us everything that we do, but it certainly is a big driver in our equation. Cost savings is always important, and if you can save money and do the right thing, why not do it? So a couple of the drivers that we've had, trying to be good citizens is obviously very important. And it's, again, that's the whole sustainability focus. It's not exactly all energy. It's energy in some form. There's lots of forms of energy, not just electricity and gas. So that's primarily it.
Excellent. Pete?
Ours is, well, it's been mostly just efficiency of operation. I mean, you see a piece of equipment out there working and struggling, and like, well, what can we do to make it better? How can we fix this? And how can we, and then it's just been that. That's how it started. Just, you see, systems failing, you're like, wow. And then you're like, people uncomfortable, wow. And then you start looking at things, and you say, well, we can do this better. We can, and just making it more efficient.
Drive to continuous improvement. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So Pete, we'll stick with you. We often talk about the importance of finding a balance of sustainability and energy optimization. We understand that what's good for the planet can often be great for business. Can you describe your organization's drivers when it comes to energy conservation and how that balance affects you? So in other words, how do you balance the energy savings with your core mission, which in this case is industrials, moving packages, right?
Yeah. Yes, it is. Primarily, operations comes first. I do nothing that will adversely affect my operation. But when my operation is not running, that's when I go after it. You've got to find, you can't, during the day or during operation times, there's not a lot you can do. There's some things you can do, but you go for the big dollar is when they're not there. That's when you go find it all. You turn lights off, you turn this off. Like, no, turn this off, turn it off. Turn conveyors off. It's a lot of things, but you've got to, like I said, it's during the downtimes that you go after it all for us.
Obviously, our core business is educating children. And how can we expect to successfully educate children if we don't do the right thing as a school system? So we try to think about that. We're actually trying to create a learning lab within our school system with the train tracer system and our physical plant, especially around the engineering classes. Christy Fetch and Anna Bell were just on a conference call with our engineering class yesterday, I believe. So we're trying to bring all aspects of sustainability and energy control. Our stakeholders, we have so many stakeholders. It's not only the community. We have parents that are paying money to send their kids to our schools. We have a responsibility to be very responsible stewards of our energy use there as well. So I think that's it.
So our facility, first and foremost in our operation, is a racetrack and providing world-class horse racing. and that venue for patrons to come in, as well as a world-class facility if someone wants to host a wedding or a birthday party at our facility, they can do so. So making sure that guests are comfortable. And then in those downtimes, being able to, not waste energy and again, improve our bottom line with operational savings. But then I guess as many in the sports and entertainment industry have started to do probably over at least the past decade, is to start to say, how can we be better stewards with the environment and to the community around us? So I think that's a core mission with the racetrack and Churchill Downs Incorporated as a whole.
Okay.
Yes.
So in the beginning, since sustainability was part of our mission and vision, we have always done recycling, even if people don't recycle at wherever the venue is, or if we're in a private home, we offer to take the recycling back to our facility. We have like a special, container through the waste management, that's just for cardboard, because of course a lot of things food related come in cardboard. We compost. I used to take, when we were smaller and we were in a space where you couldn't really have composting, I would take home like 5-gallon pickle buckets of compost and have my own personal compost. Now we actually have a large back parking lot, and so we've built a composting facility there. And then really trying to minimize food waste by making, stocks or, special soups, pickling things, making jams, chutneys. And then in the event where either we have really overshot production of food, and we have, pans of leftover food, or if a client has overshot their guest count and told us to prepare for 300 and 200 people show up, we have partnerships with 2 or 3 different nonprofits that accept food donations. And so someone is designated with taking that either at the end of the night if that facility accepts them later, or they take them within the next 24 hours. And then we were fortunate in that a few years ago, we moved into a new facility, and that really, basically a brick firehouse, 1-story firehouse, but it was kind of what they call vanilla box. And so we were fortunate in that we were able to make decisions because we were doing the build out based on sustainability measures. And so, getting all new Energy Star equipment, making sure when we put in a garage door that it had like the double, pane, and, using some people call it like on-demand water heater, but basically like the tankless water heaters that are kind of, they don't heat up the water until you need the water, but it's actually very fast. Having separate zones for HVAC. So we were able, because we were doing the build out, to make those decisions, which there wasn't a whole lot of extra upfront cost except for our hood and vent system. But the money that we have saved on the electric bill compared to the last place that I was, and the happiness of my kitchen staff that they are not working in 100-degree, it doesn't feel like 110 when it's 90 outside, has really paid off.
It's one thing I hear a lot of people talk about, while we're saving energy, we're solving other problems within our organizations. And I think that's something we can all learn from, that it's not, doesn't always have to be one way. It's actually doing a lot of things at one time. So Sherry, sticking with you, what are some of the special challenges that were unique to your organization that you faced as you try to drive sustainability and or energy savings?
So in the very beginning, when I decided that I wanted to be a farm-to-table caterer, in 2008, Louisville hadn't really taken off on the local foods movement. So one of the biggest challenges was finding local sources all in one place. I was not being very sustainable driving around to different farms, getting chicken and here and eggs here. And so fortunately, grown. And so now, there are farmers that deliver twice a week, or things that are sold through Creation Gardens. So that's certainly helped. Another challenge is conveying and educating people who are not aware of the true costs of local sustainable food, and, you know, realizing that, you know, there is a premium, and we're being very intentional, you know, about what we, you know, what we choose to order and how we, you know, prepare it. And then I think the other thing is just trying to get everyone on board, to get the whole staff to buy in and to remember to do the things like making sure don't already have it on the automatic, you know, HVAC, like, okay, everyone leaves at 5, and so the temperature, you know, we can, you know, take the temperature up a little bit, just little things like that, you know, being consistent.
So a lot of people would think it would be counterintuitive to have energy management in a sporting facility, and I don't see it that way. A lot of the opportunities, like we've upgraded our building automation system, that helps us with the comfort level of our guests while they're there, and then setting temperatures to unoccupied settings when people aren't in sections of the building, as well as looking at lighting upgrades. I hate to say it, but we still, in some of the older sections of the building, still have some T12 lighting out there. So there's some opportunities to not only get more efficiency from the lighting upgrades, but to provide better lighting quality for the guests while they're on site. So I think you can achieve both. You don't have to say, I'm going to set temperatures at 78 while guests are present, which would be totally unacceptable. But you can do things to ensure a better experience for them, as well as achieve your energy savings goals.
What kind of special challenges have you faced at Sacred Heart, David?
Well, it's special, but it's always finding the money initially to, you know, to make the big splash, invest in technology, getting the right business case together to sell to your president and board of trustees to get the money to actually do the work. And then it becomes, the challenge becomes, like you said, how do you make the business case to replace those last high energy use equipment, and you start combining and working with your partners to try to understand financing for the new projects and how you can get those projects implemented.
Justifications.
Right.
Yeah.
Ours, no. We haven't really been challenged in many fronts. Our management team's been behind this, and we've done, you know, some capital investments, you know, to upgrade our automation systems, because we've seen, you know, the energy savings. You know, we did a little small test, and then we looked at it and said, well, if we take this here, and then we're like, well, this is a no-brainer. Go for it. So, and that's what we're in the middle of doing right now. That's kind of the reason why I'm here.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's one of the things is when you see momentum, seize that momentum,
Yeah.
and go with it, right?
So
Pete, sticking with you, do you guys have any associate engagement or anything that you do to help promote your program within the organization? And I know this is going to be unique to everybody here because everybody's so unique. Any type of program to get the word out and get the associates engaged?
just within my own department, you know, I asked them, they you know, come up with ideas for me, said, what about if we did this? What if we do this? You know, but outside of that, no, there hasn't been a lot of it, no.
So in your facility, that they have their tasks they're doing and you have your tasks to do, and everybody focuses.
Everybody, they're not worried about the energy efficiency outside of, they're worried about moving packages.
Yeah.
That's their job, and my job is to look at the rest of it.
Yeah, they've got their hands full. How about you, David? Getting the word out on campus and with the faculty?
Well, you know, we've had several programs start that never really grab a hold and become something to write home about, if you will. But I think we're getting there. I think we've got some things in the works that will be tremendous engagement to us.
Excellent. I'm excited to hear more about those in the very, very near future. I know they're coming. Kimberly?
So this being the first year of our program, I've started at that ground level with meeting with different people on that individual level and making partnerships to have those champions throughout our facility. So whether it's been our new director of safety, and we've got a lot of crossover in our backgrounds with environmental and safety, and even doing some sustainability projects with making sure like our batteries and different things get recycled properly. We've got partners that are on site. So our food and beverage vendor, Levy Food and Entertainment, they, just working with them, we have a dead period where racing is not going on in the wintertime. And so how can we optimize shutting down kitchen equipment so that we don't have ice makers and walk-in freezers that are empty running for 3 or 4 months when no one's using them. So yeah, it's just a process of meeting people on that individual level and saying, this is my goal, what's your goal? And sometimes I've taken a few people for tours around the facility to see things through their eyes. So like one of our mutual managers, and we get input from them. And sometimes those people see things that I don't see or in the way that I see them. So that's been really helpful in me, creating our overall plan.
That's excellent.
We're a very small team, even compared to just other caterers, but especially to the other organizations that are related. So in some ways, it's a little bit easier. And the way that I approached it, which was kind of tricky, like sneaky, was using it as an opportunity for the employee to either use one of the skills that they enjoyed and or to be creative. So in particular in the kitchen, one of the guys likes to pickle like literally everything. And so it's like, hey, I got a job for you. On Monday, you get to come in, you get to go through the walk-in, find all the stuff that, or pieces and parts that, would be good for pickling and come up with some pickles. And then we do cheese and charcuterie boards so we can use those, and it doesn't have to be a certain item, so we have that flexibility. And then one of the other people in the kitchen is somebody who really likes to make, stocks and soups. And so that was kind of their, creative outlet, because a lot of times, we do have set menus and people tend to order the same thing over and over. So those were positives for them. With the baker, okay, when you have you're making 200 galettes and you end up having little pieces of dough left over or whatever, okay, well, what could we do with that scrap dough? And she came up with a new kind of Danish thing that you could roll. They're very creative. But then my front of the house person who really likes to research stuff and likes to help was great when we were trying to see if there were new, either more cost effective or more sustainable or more high-end looking eco-friendly disposables. So she loves to do it. We always make fun. She's like she's our research person. And so that was a fun project for her. And so I kind of came in the back door of, you get to do these fun things and you're helping us, be sustainable.
Yeah. And it's in the name too, which I think.
Exactly. Yeah.
So how, Sherry, sticking with you, and I think I just called that one. How do you track results and how do you promote those results throughout your organization and the community?
Yeah, so I do not do a good job of that until I am asked to do things like this, or the Green Convene was held at our cafe, and that was actually a good opportunity because we had moved into that space 3 years before, and it's like there was this big push and focus on the sustainability efforts that we could do with the budget that we had and the timeline that we had. And it's kind of like, once that got done and once the cafe was open, it was kind of like I forgot about it. Because we made the decisions about, it was mostly equipment. So it's kind of like, well, it's there and it's doing its job and it's being sustainable. But I don't think I really realized, I didn't remember all the things that we had done. And so that was actually a really good learning opportunity for me. I need to make it a bigger focus of our website and just, our presentation. So it's a good reminder of what we're doing and that we do need to share with people and hopefully inspire other restaurants or small businesses building out restaurants is really expensive, and I wanted to be able to say, this was our budget, and these were all the things that we were able to do. No, I wasn't able to make a really cool, I wanted a solar panel awning outside because we're south-facing windows. I couldn't do that, but I did these other great things, which are really saving us money and are part of our mission.
Excellent.
So one of the poll questions that you asked was tracking, and unfortunately, our finance departments always track costs, but in tracking usage and demand, we didn't have anything in place. So at the moment, I'm using spreadsheets, and we've been interviewing vendors to get some more robust tools for me to use. But in promoting, with this being such an odd year and the focus being how to reopen our facilities safely for guests, there hasn't been as much promotion on what my role is, but I still get those blurbs out to at least the people around me. So our senior director of facilities, our assistant general manager, our finance director, and even if it's, you know, a cost reduction on one bill for $1,000, if I get a small rebate back from LG&E for $250 to celebrate those little wins. And then our future plans is to have an internal newsletter for all CDRT employees to talk about not only what I'm doing, but what we're doing in facilities as a whole.
Excellent. David, how are you guys tracking and promoting? And or can you divulge something, because I know there's some good things coming.
Yeah, well, we number of different things we use to track our energy and measure our performance. Of course, the train tracer system has been really, really helpful since it's been installed. The data that we can get out of train tracer is amazing. We have a computerized maintenance management system that we can get some information around not so much energy, but more sustainability. And the best tool, I think, is, well, the best tool and partnership that we have is the Energy Star partial train relationship. That it's amazing. The Energy Star program is amazing because I can look at my building and my score and compare it to a school in Wisconsin, which is obviously a much colder climate, and still be the same per square foot, knowing that this school in Louisville, even though it's in a warmer climate, what their score is up there is the same. It's apples to apples. So it's an amazing system. It's really gives you great information.
Absolutely, absolutely. Pete, how are you guys tracking and getting the word out?
Tracking is in part with our salt train helps us a lot with that. They really do. Our other Snyder Electric, our big energy team, they're actually looking at our subject at the same time, and they're always giving us, you know, hey, if you all look at this, look at this, look at this. That drives us. And the other side of it, getting it out, I'm fortunate. We have a PR department that takes care of that, and I don't have to get involved in none of that. So I'm very fortunate with that. We just pass the information on to them, and then we let them take care of that.
Yep, that's fabulous. Well, I want to thank the panelists. Really good and very diverse feedback. Really appreciate it. Appreciate you being here today. Appreciate you having strong sustainability programs for our community and sharing with others so that they can try to learn from the challenges and successes and smart things that you guys are doing. I did, for those of you who may not have picked up on this, I don't believe I heard, the one thing I did not hear, and that's good, is the word sacrificing. I didn't hear anybody talk about we sacrifice comfort or we sacrifice this to achieve this. And I think so many people think naturally, I'm gonna have to sacrifice if I'm gonna save energy, if I'm gonna be sustainable. And I didn't hear that one time. And that's a positive trend that didn't occur. So thank you very much for that and your time today. And then that goes right with the theme of good for the environment, great for business, right? So this doesn't happen if it doesn't balance with the environment and business. So thank you again. The last thing we have in our program today, and I'll go back to sharing, is the final piece, which is just to let everybody know if you want to be engaged in this program, either the Louisville Energy Alliance or the Louisville Sustainability Council, how you can contact us. And I'll put this on the screen for everyone to see. As you'll see, I do want to their big sustainability summit, as mentioned earlier, will be November the 12th. Right now, I think it's tentative 12 to 4 because I think there's still some planning going on. I'm not sure. But you can connect with them on Facebook, or you can contact Julia Murray. And likewise with Louisville Energy Alliance. Please, we'd encourage you, whether it's re-registering your building for the awards next year, or if you know somebody that should register their building, please help us get the word out, because we want to give out more than 7 awards. We'd love to give out 20 awards if we could get enough registrants really applying and getting excited. We want to get, one of the questions was, how do you get the word out? We want to promote people in our community that are doing great things like you have, our panelists. So please, if you know some people, go online, you go to Louisville Energy and register for your event, or between November and January, you'll be able to register a building, or encourage somebody else to register, or contact somebody with the Louisville Energy Alliance. We'll be glad to reach out and try to help out. So I want to thank everybody for joining us today. I hope this was helpful. I want to thank the audience for participating in our poll questions. That makes it an even better program when we have audience engagement. So with that, I'd like to wrap up the event. Thank you, everybody. And we'll be seeing you guys next year at the Kilowatt Crackdown Awards, I hope. And I'm sure that most of you will be at the summit coming up for the LSC. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, we get a clap too.